Hey, welcome back, Ram fans. Mark from Rams Up here. Time for my week zero power rankings, the last power rankings I will be sharing before the start of the 2024 season. Now, if you followed along last year, you already know I don't do 1 through 32. I don't rank all 32 teams. Don't see the point. I'm going to keep it to generally around 12 teams, sometimes 15 thereabouts, and I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll count down from 12 to 1. Today I'm going to go 1 through 12, and I'm also going to be sharing a few teams in the green room outside looking in that are worth mentioning. So let's get to it. We'll start at the top. Who is my number one team? Let's get into it. Well, no surprise, my top team is the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, 11-6 last year, and they added Hollywood Brown. He should be a good addition to this offense, and they had a pretty good draft in my opinion. Had a kind of a rocky offseason, a lot of drama they had to deal with, but hey, it all comes down to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You know, you got a great quarterback and you have a great coach. That's really 90% of what you need to win in the NFL. And the Chiefs have a lot of chops in both those departments. So Kansas City Chiefs, no surprise, my number one team. My number two team, I'm going to roll with the Baltimore Ravens, 13-4 last year, lost the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, and they add Derrick Henry. How interesting is that? Now, he may not be in his prime anymore, but he's still a really good, an interesting add to this offense. The contrast between him and Lamar Jackson going to give a lot for defenses to think about. So I really like the Ravens. Now, does that mean they're going to do well in the playoffs? That remains to be seen. That has been their struggle with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. But as far as day one, week zero of the NFL, gotta like the Ravens. I have them as my number two team. My number three team, the San Francisco 49ers, still perhaps the best roster in the league. 12-5 last year, rolled through. Well, I shouldn't say they rolled through the NFC playoffs. They had a couple of tough games, especially that Lions game. They were very fortunate to win that at home. So they go on to the Super Bowl and lose again in the Super Bowl. Added some good players, Leonard Floyd and Yeturgros Matos, two edge players, but they've lost some guys on that defense as well, including Chase Young and Eric Armstead. And they have some drama they're dealing with too. Perhaps their best player, Trent Williams, at the time I recorded this, still holding out. Brandon Ayuk still unhappy. Now, the gorilla in the room is Christian McCaffrey. Are the 49ers really going to lighten his load like they say they are? I'll believe it when I see it. So they got to keep him healthy. And if they lighten his load, save him for the playoffs, credit to Kyle Shanahan for figuring that out. But I'll believe it when I see it. My number four team, the Miami Dolphins, not getting as much love elsewhere, but I really like this team. I love their coach. 11-6 last year, lost to the Chiefs in that brutally cold game in Kansas City. They, let's see, what have they done? They've added Jordan Brooks, the linebacker from the Seahawks. They've added Kendall Fuller, tight end Jonnu Smith. So they're making moves. They've also lost some guys. Christian Wilkins would be the primary guy on that defensive line. But love this team. Hey, Tua, Tyreek Hill, really dangerous team, and love their coach. I think they're going to be there in the end. They're my favorite to win that division. Jets get a lot of love, but I'm rolling with the Dolphins. My number five team, the Detroit Lions, 12-5 last year, lost to the 49ers in San Francisco in that NFC Championship game. You know, Josh Reynolds makes a couple catches. Lions probably go to the Super Bowl. They've added a Kevin Zeitler, an offensive lineman, lost to Jonah Jackson to the Rams, so they still have one of the better offensive lines in the league. And hey, I was really pessimistic about where Dan Campbell could take this team, if this team was going to suffer burnout with his leadership style. But credit to them, they keep rolling along. Jared Goff, looking like the quarterback I kind of always thought he could be and would be. I know he gets a lot of hate in Ram Nation, but hey, man, he's a pretty good quarterback, isn't he? And they have some weapons too. So the Lions, they're my favorite to win that division. Bears could surprise. Packers are going to be really good as well. So it's going to be a really fun division to watch. And don't count out the Vikings either. NFC North, suddenly a little bit of a cat fight over there. My number 6 team, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, that was really ugly how they closed out their season. Finished 11-6, but man, the end of the year was just really ugly. They end up losing to the Bucks in the wild card game. They had some strange things going on in their clubhouse, I think, but they have added Saquon Barkley, and that could be a game changer for that offense. Now they got to figure it out, blending his skill set with what Jalen Hurts does on offense there. Still one of the best offensive lines in the league. Love the Philadelphia Eagles. Like their chances of bouncing back, and they're my favorite to win that division. And I think they could possibly run away with that division. We'll see. We'll talk about the Cowboys here in a minute. My number 7 team, the Houston Texans. They were 10-7 last year before losing to the Ravens. Remember, they just trounced the Browns in the first round of the playoffs. They add Stephon Diggs. That's a big add for that team. And this is a team that's well coached, very physical. We saw them with the Rams in that joint practice. Seem to be a class organization moving in the right direction. And this could be the year they make a big leap. And they were my Super Bowl pick to play the Rams. Now, why don't I have the Rams or the Texans at the top of these rankings? Well, they got some proving to do, but really like this team. I think the Houston Texans could very well be the biggest challenger to the Chiefs when all is said and done in the AFC. So they're my number 7 team. The number 8 team I have, the Green Bay Packers. 9-8 last year, lost to the 49ers in the divisional round after beating the Cowboys. Now, it's really interesting how that works out. Green Bay cannot win in San Francisco, and the Packers could just handle the Cowboys over and over and over again. And this is a really improved team. They add Josh Jacobs. So similar to what the Eagles did, they bring in a talented running back, pair him up with a ascending quarterback, and Packers have done the same. Josh Jacobs going to help out Jordan Love there. So the Texans, and you know what? When I say that the Lions are my favorite to win that NFC North, it's really, it's pretty tough. The Packers are going to be right there too. Could very well be wrong on that. I wouldn't put a lot of money on the Lions, but Packers going to be pretty darn good too. My number 10 team is the Bengals. Now, the Bengals, they're just kind of a sketchy team. They go on streaks, they get people hurt. They always seem to be there at the end, though. Last year, they lost Joe Burrow, still managed to win their season finale and finish at 9-8. Good enough for last place in a very tough division. All 4 teams in that division finished over 500, and it's going to be a really tough division again. I have them ahead of the Browns, though, and a lot of people may disagree with that position, but if they stay healthy, and Burrow and Jamar Chase, those are the 2 key guys there, if they stay healthy, they're going to be pretty darn good. My number 10 team, I'm not as high on the Dallas Cowboys as a lot of other folks. Great offense, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, you're very good at what they do. Offensive line's probably going to take a step back. They lost 2 starters, including Tyron Smith, a very good left tackle. Defense is going to be very good as well. I'm just not really excited about their rushing game. Back to Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, I'm not feeling it for the ability of the Cowboys to move the ball on the ground. And you know what? They're going to be good in the regular season. Or another team that just can't get it done in the playoffs if they're fortunate enough to make the playoffs. Like I already said, taking the Eagles in this division. Cowboys will be good, but I think they do have some holes, some chinks in their armor at this point when you look at their running back room. Number 11, our Los Angeles Rams actually dropped him down a spot or two since last time. Losing Aaron Donald, that was a big hit. Now they lose Ernest Jones, but love this offense, man. Now they could get off to a slow start because their offensive line is a little short with Alaric Jackson suspended. Can Rob Havenstein go? But other than that, this is going to be a dynamic, productive offense. And the defense lost those two guys really young, extremely young, but man, they have some talent. Trust me, I think we're going to be really excited once we watch this team start playing on defense. Now, there's going to be some bumps, there's going to be some growing pains, but hey, ask Tom Brady how he feels about the Los Angeles Rams. He'd probably have them higher than this. And my number 12 team, the Cleveland Browns, 11-6 last year, got clobbered by the Texans in the playoffs in a really tough division. That's their biggest problem, playing the Bengals and Ravens twice, Steelers as well, who should be competitive. So, the Browns got pounded by the Texans in the playoffs, and still, I think there's high hopes for this team. They're barely my number 12 team, to be honest, though. Just not sure what Deshaun Watson brings to the table. We'll find out soon enough. But they'll be, it's all about their defense. Myles Garrett leading the charge. Pretty good football team. And who's in my green room outside looking in? I got the Buffalo Bills slipping outside the top 12. I think they are getting overrated. We are not ready. A lot of folks, anyways, aren't ready to recalibrate and acknowledge that the Bills have lost a lot of players and they're going to struggle this year. Now, Josh Allen is one of the best in the business, but look at this roster without him. No Stephon Diggs. They've lost a lot of other guys, Leonard Floyd. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough year for the Buffalo Bills. The Atlanta Falcons, they're getting a lot of love, and it's all about their schedule, I think. The easiest schedule in the league, weakest division in the league. So they have a pretty easy road to the playoffs and a home game in the playoffs. But I don't know, man. I'm just, they need to show it on the field first before I bump the Falcons into the top 12. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a lot of people giving them some love. I saw them ranked above the Rams, not ready to go there yet. They always seem to be competitive. Can Baker Mayfield sustain that type of production that we saw last year? Again, easy division, so they'll rack up some easy wins, but I don't think they're a top 12 team. And probably the biggest surprise outside my top 12, the New York Jets. And really two reasons. One, just not sure if Aaron Rodgers is the Aaron Rodgers of a couple of years ago. Maybe he is, a lot of people giving up on Matthew Stafford prematurely, so it would be somewhat disingenuous of me to say Aaron Rodgers is possibly over the hill, but maybe he is. Maybe he takes a step back. Maybe his productivity, his arm strength, whatever, takes a step back, falls off the cliff a little bit. And then take a look at their wide receiver room. I'm surprised they didn't snag Xavier Smith because they need some help there. Breece Hall, really good running back, top 5 fantasy pick if you care. But other than that, on the offensive side, not feeling it. And their defense is going to be really good as well, still one of the best last year, and I expect that to continue. So there is my Week 0 power rankings. We'll try to do this once a week. Out here from Rams Up. Till next time.